switching off the background music, switching the scene. There we go. Okay. Hello. I think that worked. I think I'm live. Hello. This is me. I am Professor Zach Whalen, and this is the Twitch stream for my graphic novel class. So if you are watching, hello. If you are in my class, you are in the right place. If you're not, you're still welcome. And this is the first day of class, so today I'm going to be taking you through the structure and basic ideas of the class and generally getting things started. So I see I have 19 viewers at the moment. There's 20 people on the roster for this class, so maybe that's everybody or almost everybody. That's great. My main concern today is making sure everyone finds the right place. Just like the first day of a face-to-face class, I would call roll and make sure everyone was in the right classroom, and if anyone was missing, I would try to find them later. But we have to do that kind of virtually, so I will be following up with anyone who's not here, but if you are here, then you're here, so I don't have anything to do. So if you're watching on Twitch, then let me know how the audio sounds and everything. I've used this setup before, but not for a few weeks. So if you see any issues with the audio video synchronizing, sometimes that can be weird, and I have to adjust it a little bit. So if that's distracting, let me know, or if I don't sound clear, anything like that, please let me know. Let me just double check to make sure I'm using the right microphone. I have a nice microphone, but sometimes I forget to select the right input. Okay, it looks like it's the right input, so hopefully that's good. It looks like I'm not clipping on the audio, so I don't think that's too high. Okay, great. I think we're good. So yeah, hello. This is weird. This is a weird way to start a class, but this is what we're dealing with this semester, and we'll deal with it. We'll be okay. We'll get through things as we need to. Thanks for joining me on Twitch today. I don't know if you saw, but I guess Zoom is down right now, so that's one reason. That's a good reason to use Twitch today as opposed to Zoom for classes. But between Twitch and Zoom, I do like Twitch for days of class like today, which is going to be mostly me talking, right? It's the first day of class, so it's going to be me introducing and showing things. And we don't all need to be on screens for that. I don't need to see your faces for me to know that you're watching. And also, just the bandwidth of all that connection, all that connectivity takes up a lot more than just Twitch, because Twitch is just streaming video to your device, and that's all. It's not trying to go both ways like Zoom does. So I like using Twitch for these things. Twitch is also a little bit more informal, and there's different things that plug in well with Discord and other things. So I like using Twitch for my lecture style live streams for class, and that's what I'm doing today. So this is going to be kind of how I do things on other days of the semester, but I'll probably be modifying and tweaking and figuring things out as I always tend to do. So the main goal for today is getting you oriented to the class, and if you're watching this Twitch stream live, you've already accomplished one major thing, which is figuring out how to watch these streams live. If you're watching this later, that's okay too, because that's the other way that you'll have access to this content that I'm producing right now. I will record this, it is being recorded, and I will host this on YouTube. So after I'm done with the stream, I'll download it, upload it to my YouTube channel, and you can watch it there. I will also type up notes for whatever I end up talking about today. So I have my notes written out by hand, and I'll type up kind of the main things, including links for you to find things, and I'll put that in Canvas later. I might do that just as an announcement in Canvas, or I might just do pages for that. So I'm not sure I'm not sure what will be easier, but it'll be in Canvas basically. So hi, I think I know many of you. I looked at the roster, but not everyone. So you may not know me. I will introduce myself briefly, and then talk about the class in general, and then go through a little bit more of the structure of the class, and that will probably take up the whole class for today. So we'll see. And I do have 2 bits of homework for you to do, or 2 things to do before Wednesday, and you can probably even do them right now as we're talking. So I'll show you that in a moment. So my name is Zach Whalen. I'm the professor of this class, the teacher of it, the instructor. I'm an associate professor, and I am now in the Department of Communication and Digital Studies. I don't know if you know this, but we have a new department. I have been at UMW this will be my 12th year that I'm starting, and I've been in the Department of English, Linguistics, and Communication, but we decided to make 2 departments, and that happened officially over the summer. And so it had been in the works for a while, so it wasn't all of a sudden. But we split so that the new department can better support our growing major in communication and digital studies, and but I'm still teaching English classes like this one. So this is a class that is an English class, but it's also a common digital studies elective. It also is a digital intensive course if you need that. This meets the new digital intensive general education. It's called what is it? I forget. They have new names for the categories in general education, and I forget the name of the kind of thing that the digital intensive is. But this is a digital intensive class if you need that. Anyway, so I'm just a little bit more about me. My PhD is from the University of Florida, which I got in was it 2007 or 8, and I studied video games, and I continue to work on and study video games, but also graphic narrative as well, comics, graphic novels, with my colleague Chris Foss and another person named Jonathan Gray. The three of us co-edited a collection of scholarly essays about the theme of disability in comics, and so this is something I've done published work in this area. Let's see, what else? I've got an article I'm working on, probably a book chapter that I'm working on about using software to analyze comics, and that's very early stages at the moment. But this is the kind of thing I do. I've been interested in and working in kind of the digital humanities sphere for a while now. This is a more generic term. We call it digital studies at UMW, but more broadly it is, and at other places it's often called digital humanities. And specifically, I am very interested in electronic literature and computer, I guess, computational creativity or creative coding is another way to think of that. I've actually started working on a book project on that, so I don't know if I'm gonna have time to do that, but that's kind of what I'm up to. I am just personal stuff. I am married. I have 4 kids, and they are around here somewhere. And one reason I have this microphone, by the way, I got this. I don't know if you can see. I got this lapel mic because it's a much local. It's a much more local mic, so it picks up more like around me as opposed to the whole room, which is good because the room I'm in right now is below the room where my kids tend to hang out during the day, and they make a lot of noise. They just thump on the floor, and it's very loud in here. So hopefully this microphone doesn't pick up too much of that, or if it does, it's not too distracting. I will give you a tour of my setup at some point if you're interested, but I'm currently, I'm in front of a green screen that I created, but I'm on it's kind of like a semi-outside room. So it's, we call it the sunroom or the school room, but I've kind of taken it over as my online teaching space. So I am at home right now as I'm doing this. I might go to campus to do some of these live streams because the computers on campus are set up with document cameras, which can be really useful whenever I want to talk about comics. I can put that comic image on the document camera and then me on the regular camera and then work with it that way. But until then, and for now at least, I'll be streaming from home. And yeah, should be fine. I've been doing that, taught 2 summer classes this way, and it seemed to go all right. So hopefully it will continue to go all right for you all. Now, usually in the first day of class, I would be getting to know you as well. I would call roll, and I would maybe ask you some follow-up questions or chat a bit. I don't like to do icebreakers. I hate icebreakers as much as you do, but I do kind of like to try to get to know people if I don't already know them. The reason I hate icebreakers, I mean, everybody hates icebreakers, but the reason that I am particularly annoyed by them is there's often the style of icebreaker where you go around the circle or whatever, and you have to do something or say something based on your initials. And my initials are ZW, and so it's there's just not a lot of options, or there's not a lot of other words that start with Z. So it's there's one where it's you have to say I am Zach and I, and then you have to supply a verb, an action word that starts with the same letter as your name, and it's what is there for Z? Zoom and zip. That's it. So I don't, that's not, it's just awkward, right? So anyway, I do want to get to know you all. Of course, eventually, probably, maybe, hopefully we'll be face to face and we can see each other in person and talk to each other that way. But until then, and even after then, I would like to use something called Discord to manage this kind of conversation and this kind of community. So it's like a virtual classroom, a place for us to get together during live streams and during synchronous sessions, or even during during in-person sessions. So I have set up a Discord server, and I'm looking at the Canvas course right now. And in the Canvas course, if you go to the, I sent an announcement here through Canvas, and there's a link to this stream, which you're watching, obviously, if you're watching. And there's also this link here to Discord, and you should click that link to either join our server if you already have a Discord account, or if you don't have a Discord account, it'll prompt you to create one and then take you to the join link. You might have to come back and click it again, but hopefully you can figure that out. I did see many of you have joined it. If you've never used Discord before, it is pretty informal. There's a lot of nuances to it and options, and I'm not going to be going crazy with those options on this. I don't think I'm going to need any bot accounts, for example. It's just a way for us to have basically a chat room as we're going through things. So I do want to. So I'm not going to actually pull the Discord server up here because I'm going to be archiving these things later. And if I switch my screen right now to stream the Discord server, then your names would appear in that, and I'm trying not to include your names. I mean, I want to respect your privacy, so I don't want to switch to the Discord thing right now to show you how Discord works. Let me see. Maybe I can do this. No, I can. Well, okay, I might be able to, but I'm not going to. Which is, I made a channel called Live Stream Chat in Discord, and I think of that as a place to, like, if I do need to pull up something from Discord, that might be used as a place to pull up. So in other words, like, you would be by chatting in the live stream chat channel. That's a channel that might appear on the stream. That's kind of how I had that, how I was thinking of that. But I don't know if I'm going to do that. I certainly don't need to show it to you to see how that works. But once you're in Discord, and it looks like lots of you are, so I will just kind of say a few things generally about it, and then follow up with whoever doesn't make it in, I guess. Let's see, how many people do we have? 14 people online right now, including me, so that's pretty good. But there's a few more people that are, so we have a few more on the stream than on Discord. So if you're still trying to find your way there, that's fine. Work your way there, or just do it later. That's fine too. No rush on this at all. As always, let me know if you have any issues with this. You can leave me a message in Twitch chat if you have a Twitch account, or you can just send me an email if you don't know what else to do. But once you're in Discord, I would like for you to say hello. I've set up an introductions channel, and the point of that is to introduce yourselves. Now, I notice many of you are using what looks like your real name, and that's fine. But also, you should know that in Discord, you can set up, you can use a pseudonym or a nickname. I'm pretty sure you can use different nicknames for different servers. So if you would rather be known as a pseudonym when you're online with this class, that's perfectly fine. I would probably even recommend that. I can't really do that because I'm the professor and you need to know who I am, and I'm not, pseudonymous, I can never say that word. I'm not a pseudonym online. I use my real name online. So I'm using my real name in Discord, but you're welcome to use a different name if you have one, if you prefer. Okay, so, I just noticed. Oh, that's cool. I don't remember setting this up, but maybe I did. But it shows me, if I just noticed that in Discord, it shows that I'm actually live on Twitch right now, which I am, obviously, but I forgot I had set that up. That's pretty convenient. So, okay, cool. So anyway, once you're in Discord, I would like for you to, of course, say hi, but also there's an introductions channel. So go to the introductions channel and just say hello. Say whatever you want to about yourself. If you're using a pseudonym, you don't have to out yourself as your real name if you'd rather not. But just maybe say hi, say why you're interested in this class, and kind of what you're looking forward to this semester. Maybe I don't know. I'll leave that up to you. But just do something to say hi and tell us who you are. And I see at least one person there in introductions right now. I see someone is using the voice channel in Discord. I don't have any way of hearing that right now. So if you are saying something to me, I can't hear you. But I can hear that later. I don't usually use the Discord voice channels. It's just, I don't know, I just don't. So anyways, yeah, say hi in there, and that'd be great. As you can see within the general channel, the way some people are using it right now it's very much like Slack, which you may have used, where you can post GIFs or just text messages there, and you can also add reactions. Sometimes if you want to show that you're part of a conversation but you don't have anything specific to say, you can just use the reaction option. So if you hover over a message, like right now I'm hovering over Piper Ryan's, and there's a little like reaction face thing there, you can just click that and then pull up an emoji that is appropriate for whatever you'd like to express in relation to that post. That's the way we do things, and that's a good way to show kind of that you're part of that we're having a conversation. I think one of the I guess downsides or downfalls or whatever, the things that happen in Discord and Slack sometimes is that people tend to view it more as just a message board space where you just kind of throw your content and then you leave. But I really hope that we can make this more of a conversational space, and using reactions is a good way to make it feel more like a conversation. So even if you don't have something specific to say in response to someone else, try to use those little little check boxes or whatever, like a little emoji there to kind of just show more engagement with each other, and that's a good way to use it. Of course, we will hopefully be talking face-to-face at some point, and I don't know, you've probably had some experience now with online learning over the last few months, right? But one of the things that I'm sure you've noticed is that online learning tends to feel very disconnected. It's harder to get a sense of who you're with or what your community is. And so I hope that we can use Discord to get some of that sense of being together in person. Some of those things that we would normally get just for kind of being there and having a conversation. This is a very conversational class. I mean, this class, we're studying graphic novels, and it is my hope that we have some pretty interesting and deep discussions about these, and that's how I structure this class. So hopefully some of that can happen in Discord. Hopefully some of it will happen in person. We'll see how things go. All right, great. So I think I'm good on Discord. I'm not pulling it up here, but it looks like many of you are jumping in, so thanks for doing that. So that I mentioned earlier, homework, that is one of the requests, or homework request was to join Discord and introduce yourself on Discord, and it looks like many of you have already done that, so that's great. The other thing is in Canvas, so let me go here and make sure that I have set this up correctly. So I am now in Canvas, and I am, as you see in the announcement here, I have a lot I'm still updating. Basically, I'm using a lot of content from earlier versions of this class, but I still have to update all the due dates and arrange the schedule. So I know that that's an important thing that you need to know about. So I am working very hard on that, but it's just like so many little things that I have to do whenever I set up a course. And I've done a lot of them now, and that's why I've opened the course. But this is it. Yeah. Oh, I just saw. I'm sorry. I'm watching multiple screens here. I saw somebody just said that they are a transfer student, and that's a good idea actually. So I'm not going to name. Again, I'm respecting privacy, so I'm not going to talk to you about name you all, but. The person who just said that you are blaming Raina Telgemeier for getting you into graphic novels, I think that's actually a good introduction thing. Like, why are you interested in graphic novels, or what is your first graphic novel that you fell in love with, or what is your experience? Like, some people I know take this class and they have no idea what graphic novels or comics are. Like, they've never read comics before, and that's something that can be an interesting point of view too. So that might be a good way to introduce yourself. And also, welcome to UMW. So. Raina Telgemeier stuff is great, and I've taught her book Ghosts in this class in the past for two reasons. I taught that book for two reasons. One, I liked it. I liked the narrative, but also it raised some interesting questions. Like it was a little bit controversial actually. So that was a book that was interesting. I mean, I love Raina Telgemeier's illustration. Like as an artist, cartoonist, she's one of my favorites. But the book raised some interesting questions, and it was we were able to talk about it nicely. So anyway, yeah, Raina Telgemeier. She didn't make it into this semester's book list though. So, but I will show you that list shortly. Okay, the one thing I did want to show you here. This is your other bit of homework, and this is due before Wednesday's class, if possible. So take a look at it. It's a survey, but it's using the quiz feature in Canvas. So you might find it under quizzes. It is. I'll make sure that it's easy to find, maybe with an announcement or wherever I put the notes for today. But take a look at this. It's meant to be pretty quick, right? So don't worry too much about there's no right or wrong answers here, except I do want to know there's one really important question. So, you know, some of this is just basic getting to know you kind of questions, and like, you know, if you have a name that you go by that is not what is listed on the roster, then you should definitely let me know. If you have, also please let me know about gender pronouns. You can, like, it is, I don't know if there's a better way to do this, but I think in Discord it is pretty common where people will put their pronouns after their name, after their nickname. So it would be like, in my case, Zach Whalen, and then parentheses he, him. You can do that, or there are other ways to do that, I think, on your profile. But anyway, at least tell me what you would prefer as far as pronouns. And this is the really important question on this survey. So let me explain this a little bit, and then then I'll get into some actual content, structural stuff for the class. So this is a class that is hybrid synchronous, and I said a little bit about what that means, but just again, the idea is that we will be together face-to-face sometimes, and once the university opens for face-to-face possibilities in a couple weeks, hopefully. You know, we'll see how that goes, but when that happens, we are restricted to certain numbers of students in a single room at a time. And it works out to about half of, for the classroom that we're in, it works out to about half of you can be there at a time. So I don't know if you've looked at the schedule and banner recently, but this class was originally scheduled in Combs 112, I think, Combs something, or no, it was like, I think it was in the basement, one of the basement rooms. But those classroom, whatever classroom we were originally in has been closed and is being used for storage. So for that reason, and also because it gives us more options, we've been moved to HCC 327. So that's the big room in the Convergence Center with like the 6 tables around the walls. That room has been configured so that it can support, I think, 12 students at a time, at the most. So that's, you know, about half of you all. So my basic plan for a week of class is to do at least one live stream like this, like a lecture, probably on Monday, and then have on Wednesday meet with half of you, and on Friday meet with the other half of you. On Wednesday, if you're not meeting face-to-face, you'll have a synchronous, you'll have some instructions, something that you can work on at the same time as the others are meeting face-to-face, and then vice versa. I also know that some of you may not be attending class face-to-face at all for access reasons or disability reasons, and these are fine too. So I'd like to know who's in which group here, basically. I would like to know if you are already know you're not planning to attend face-to-face, then I would like to know that soon so I can put those of you in that category together and make sure that you're, you know, coordinated, that you are a cohort of your own. For everyone that is face-to-face, I would like to know if you would prefer Wednesdays or Fridays, and then I will put you into cohorts respective to those days. And once we settle this, you will not be allowed to move without, you know, letting me know. In other words, if you're in the Wednesday group, you can't come on Friday unless you switch groups, right? I mean, we have to make sure that we keep the capacity of the room. We have to respect the capacity of the room. So this is really important, basically. This question 6, right? So please indicate your availability and your preference, and then I'll put you into cohorts. And I will also, I'll make a channel for each cohort in Discord so you can have each other as a conversation. These cohorts are important logistically as far as when to be where, but they also will be your working group that you coordinate activities with. So you will be on a blogging schedule. I'll talk about that in a minute. You'll also be working together on a group project. And so I will talk about that as well in a minute. But that will be your group, basically. So I need to know who's in that group as soon as possible, basically. So let me know. And also, yeah, I mean, if you're watching this on Twitch, then hopefully your internet is good enough for that at least. But if you're concerned about your internet, or if it's not great, or if you're not actually watching this live because you can't, let me know so I can make sure to accommodate you somehow, either by streaming differently or giving you another way to access this, something like that. Okay, so if you have any questions about any of this stuff, the live stream chat channel in Discord is probably the best place to put that, or possibly just general, or even on the Twitch chat if you are there. So let me know if you have any questions, and I will be proceeding with some other things. In general, by the way, if you want to get in touch with me, my contact info is on the syllabus, which I have not showed you yet, but it's really just, it's a link to here. So if you go to zachwhalen.net/contact, if you ever need to contact me, you've got lots of ways to do it. So I've got 2 different email addresses. I check both of them. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Facebook. You don't need to message me on Facebook. I don't check those very often, but Twitter I do actually. If you want to call me, this is my office phone number, and this forwards to my actual phone. So you can call that if you need to. Although you'll probably need to leave a message because I get so much spam phone calling that I don't actually answer it unless I know who it is. You can also send me a text message here. I think you can anyway. I don't think anyone has. I don't think that any students have ever used this, but I've set this up as it's a Google Voice number, but it can have text too, and it's supposed to forward it to my phone. So this is not my actual mobile number, but I should get that message if it goes there. So I don't know. Maybe somebody should just try that out. Maybe I should test it and see if that works, but theoretically it should work. Anyway, so this is my Twitch channel, which you're watching right now probably. This is my YouTube channel, which you may also be watching, and I'll be setting this up. Let me show you my YouTube channel. I am going to be live streaming for this class and others, so let me show you kind of where I am. Oh yeah, I don't have any yet, but the playlist for all the streams for this class will be in their own playlist, and it'll show up down below here. There's nothing there yet because I haven't uploaded any yet, but once I do, hopefully they'll show up there, and those will all be listed by dates so that you can find the day you need to if you miss one. Okay, so let's see. That's the survey. Great. Let me say a little bit more about the class, and I am trying to keep these streams to the scheduled time, and this class goes until 11, so I've got about 20 minutes to go through some more things. I've already talked about Discord, and I'm not going to click on that, but a lot of the material for this class is actually on this website, marywashacomics.net, and so I think I will switch over there. Yeah, I'll switch over here to take you on a tour of this website. So this is a class with a legacy. And in other words, I've taught this class, I think, every year I've been here. So you all are like the 12th or maybe 13th iteration of me teaching this class. It's, I think, the class I've taught the most times. DGSD 101 might be catching up, but I teach this class almost every year, usually in the fall. And so I like to kind of keep the archive going, or think of it as an ongoing project that you are now joining. And so this website, marywashacomics.net, is where I put these things. In the past, I used to use UMW blogs, and so I took the legacy from the UMW blog site into here. So some of the posts that you'll see here are actually imported from that older version of it. And basically, I wanted you to see that there's a way to do this. Like, there's a conversation already going on about comics, and a way of saying interesting things about comics in the context of this class. And there's a lot of good stuff on here. So as I talk about blogging for this class, you'll see good examples, and I can show you good examples. I mean, these are other students like you. You may know some of these people. Some people have chosen to blog with their real names, and so you may recognize some of them. You may know them, or maybe not. Some people use pseudonyms, and that's great too. Excuse me. But this is the site where you will be blogging at least once on here, and creating an article essentially like you see here. But let me go to the syllabus. All the syllabus information is on the website here as well. So syllabus and assignment information, which I'm seeing already. Did I forget to save this? I'm pretty sure I already corrected this. No, I didn't. Okay. So you're going to watch me edit this page in real time. I really thought I had already... I think I did that on my other computer and then forgot to save it or something. I don't know. Anyway, so let me just adjust the really basic stuff here. And pretty sure that is the right Canvas page. Oh man, okay. No, it's not. Okay. I know I did change it. I think I just forgot to save it. So hopefully, oh man, this is the problem when I'm working on all these like multiple computers with dozens of tabs open. sometimes will change something in one tab and then forget I changed it, and then edit it in a different tab and then overwrite the things that I changed somewhere else. So this is my life right now. That is the right link, isn't it? I hope so. I hope that's right. So I basically wanted to make sure that there's a clear link between the two. So yeah, bear with me as I get this going. Okay, so hopefully, yeah, see, I'm gonna have to look at this again to make sure. Okay, well, the book list is correct. So that's the main thing that I wanted to show you. So, okay, let me take a look. Sorry about that. This is just how it goes the first day. So this is, as you just saw, this is a WordPress site. So if you've never used WordPress before, I will teach you how. It's not hard. You won't be dealing with the complicated parts of it anyway, so you'll just be writing. But let's take a look at the syllabus to give you a sense of the structure and goals for the class, and then talk about as much as I can about the various the various books that we're reading. So this is a class on studying graphic novels, obviously. I would say another way to think about this class and the approach I take to it is thinking of it as a media studies class where the medium that we're most interested in is comics. So I think of comics as a medium, and by calling it a medium, by calling comics a medium, I'm drawing attention to the ways that you can do certain things in comics that you can't do in other media. So think about how you can do things with film, with TV, with prose fiction, and you could tell the same story, but the way you tell it and the things that you want to emphasize in it, the way that it impacts the reader, the audience, is going to be very different depending on those media. Comics are the same, and they have their own language and their own way of expressing things and connecting to readers. And so this is a class about trying to understand those things and to learn from specific examples of artists and writers working well with this medium. So I've chosen several books here that I find valuable in different ways, and that I think will give us access to different conversations about the medium of comics. We will be starting off with kind of a historical ramp into comics, but this is not really a history of comics class. It's just not set up that way. So you kind of would need 2 semesters to do that, and this is not, we don't have that time. So there's going to be some things that are going to be before these things here, but these are books that we will be studying closely throughout the semester. Let me kind of pinhole those for now, let me put a pin in those for the moment, and I'll come back and talk about them in a bit. But you can see them here. This is the actual book list. You can see this book list on, also the library should have all of these by now, but I need to check. And certainly the bookstore does. Even though I don't think the bookstore is open for browsing, but you can get these books in lots of ways. So hopefully that'll be okay. And by the way, I'll just say this too. If you prefer to, or if you need to get these electronically, like many of these, I don't think Stuck Rubber Baby is, but I think the rest of them might be available in Comixology, which is the comic reader app thing from Amazon. If you need to get things that way, that's fine. I personally prefer print books for books that I'm really studying, but I do certainly read a lot in Comixology as well, so I'm not going to judge you for that. I'm not even necessarily going to know how you're accessing the comic, these books, but sometimes it might be interesting to compare and look at how a particular page, how the experience of a particular page is different using the app versus actually reading it on print. So let's take a look a bit at these things. So participation is a big part of this class. Obviously, participation means different things when we're online, but the main thing it means is actually watching the streams and being present in Discord. I'm not going to call roll or take attendance or anything. I will on our face-to-face sessions just to make sure that you all are in the right place and things like that. But you'll actually have assigned seats, so it'll be easy for me to take roll. But but participation, it means being part of the conversation, and we will have lots of conversations. So right now, if you're in Discord and you introduced yourself, you've done what you need to do. But each day we'll have something like that, where I'll have a particular question to try to answer, or several questions possibly, and you'll either work through those in real time while I'm streaming or later. But that's what I mean for that. All right, so the blog is another big assignment, and that's something that you see here. You will be in a group for this, and that's just the groups for blogging are really just to coordinate and make it so that everyone isn't blogging at the same time, because that can become overwhelming. So this is a way to organize it, but once you're in a cohort, I will give you a due date for your blogging, but they will be kind of staggered throughout the semester. For social media, we are going to try something as well, and this will be associated with that group. I say try something because I did this for the first time last time I taught this class, and it went pretty well, so I'm going to try it again, but maybe with a few tweaks. But the idea is to use Instagram, and Instagram is great, obviously, for, I mean, it's really, people tend to use it to share pictures of themselves. I mean, the selfie is kind of Instagram's main thing, but at its core, it's really just an image sharing platform. And there are people I follow, like comic artists and scholars, and a lot of times it is really useful to take a picture of the panel of a panel from a book you're reading to say something about it. And that's what I would encourage you to do as well. But these will be organized in groups. So if you don't want to use your personal Instagram accounts, you certainly don't have to. You can make a fake account. I can show you how to do that, and or a group account. And it's not really a fake account. It's just a group account that you can all share. One group last year, the 4 women in the group digitally morphed their faces together to make a hybrid identity, which was, I think, really interesting. So you don't have to do that, but you'll have different options basically as you think about it. Okay, so let me just, again, I'm saying brief things about these different assignments here. The disassembly assignment, this is where you're going to do a little bit of digital deconstruction. And as I said earlier, this is a digitally intensive class, so this is part of that digital intensiveness where, kind of hard to explain. Actually, let me click over to this assignment because it's kind of hard to explain without showing you. So this is an assignment where you take some comic art, a specific panel of a specific comic usually, and I'll give you examples of where to find them. Comic Book Plus is a great place to find comics to play around with. And then that's the assignment basically, is play around with it, take it apart. And you can use software to do this, and I use GIMP, or there's a new version of GIMP called Glimpse, which I like better, so I've been using Glimpse. If you have Photoshop and you want to use that, that's great, but you don't have to. You can do fine and perfectly good work with MS Paint or whatever that's called now. Just basic drawing programs. There's different web-based image editors, obviously. Lots of different ways to actually do the digital part of this, and I'll show you options and walk you through a couple of them in detail. But conceptually, what you're trying to do is take a comic apart. And in this example here, like you can see, I took this is what it started as, right? And then I did different things to it. So I took the color out, right? I took all the words out, so the question is then, how does this change? Like, I took all the words out, so what is this new comic? What is this new comic about? And how does this new comic that I've created by disassembling the original one, how does it illuminate or clarify or comment on the original in some way? Sometimes those things will be obvious, sometimes not. But the theme here is taking away as opposed to adding things. You're not writing your own comic usually, but you're trying to find a comic that was hidden in this original comic, if that makes sense. It really is an interesting assignment and can be really fun. So if it seems weird as I'm explaining it right now, trust me, it'll be fine once you try it out. And I'll show you more examples and walk you through it. But it's a good assignment. I like it. The next one is an annotated bibliography. This one actually builds into the research project. Those two come near the end of the semester. And the idea for the annotated bibliography is that you produce a bibliography that then is shared among the class, like we all work together on one big bibliography. And then you use that bibliography to write your research paper, your research project that is the final for the class. So that's something that comes much later, and we'll talk about that later. The point of the bibliography assignment really is to teach you that there is this field of comic studies, like this, people doing scholarly writing about comics. That's a thing, and people do it. So we're not the first people to do that by any means. And so we need to understand what the major ideas and conversations are in that community and see what we can build on from that. Okay, and then the really big assignment that will take probably the most amount of time this semester in terms of the assignments is the webcomic. So this is a group project. I know group projects are challenging, and this is a particularly challenging one, I will go ahead and say. is also going to be challenging because you'll be coordinating things digitally. That said, that digital aspect might make some of the coordination a little bit easier to manage. Like you might have more discrete roles to play within the group because of just the need to be organized about your work. That actually might play well into it. I think what I'm probably going to do with this assignment is a slight adjustment. Like usually what I have you all do is create, like once you get your group and you get your idea, I like to ask students to figure out their workflow and who's in charge of which step. I think I'm going to be taking a much more, like I'm going to be helping you with that a lot. I think the delegations of duties within that group, just because I want to make sure it gets done well, and also I want to make sure you're not overburdening someone with too much work. Because sometimes if you've never done this kind of work, it might not be clear as you're planning it, like how much work it actually is to draw a comic. And so sometimes I've had groups where it's like they'll have a group of 4 people and they'll say, well, 3 of them are the writer and are going to share the writing duties, and then the 4th person is going to do the art. But that 4th person doing the art is doing 80% of the work for that group, and that's not fair. So we want to make sure, make sure that it's equitable, but also that it's manageable. But anyway, the comics are. You can see several of them if you go to the Our Comics link, and these are this is from last year, right? So this is some comics produced by groups last year, and this is a website that is like a site within a site of merriwashingcomics.net. Some groups chose to host their comics elsewhere, and you can find, I think, most of those here, although I don't know if this is totally up to date. There's a lot of comics over the years that people have created, and I don't know if I have a complete archive, but you can see some good examples here of the webcomic Shelbert the Gallant. I have a sticker for Shelbert on my laptop. But Shelbert is a hermit crab, as you can see, and he does battle against a seagull. So the ideas can be silly. They can be really deep and meaningful too. There's a lot of different options. Oh yeah, Bucus. Bucus is adorable. This group chose to use Instagram actually to host their comic. So Bucus is an adorable ghost, as you can see. So anyway, lots of good stuff. And you as a group, you can produce something similar. It can be totally different. We have lots of time to get there. But the point is to think about, again, the goal of this class is to understand how comics work, like how they can convey ideas. And you basically you understand that a lot better once you try to do it, and you, I think, gain a better appreciation for good, well-written, well-drawn comic art once you've seen how hard it is to do it. And it is hard. I'm not gonna lie, it's hard. But you're gonna do great. It's gonna be fun. All right, so those are the major assignments that are going to structure the class. So we'll be working towards those things, and of course lots of detail to come about those. The dates are all wrong right now, so don't copy those into your planner or your calendar or anything yet, but I will certainly do that. What is this? Am I looking at the wrong class here? Sorry. Oh yeah, I am. That's the wrong class. Sorry. This is the issue. So I end up with multiple tabs open on different versions of this class in Canvas. Anyway, this is our class. This is you, as you can see here. Because it's 2020-08 now. All right, so merriwashingcomics.net, Discord. Yeah, Instagram. I think I'll say more about Instagram later because I'm running low on time, and I wanted to say a bit about each of the books, and then wrap things up. So let's see, where's my syllabus? Here it is. And this was too. Okay, now it's updated. Great. So these are the books, and as I choose books for this class, I usually go with 8 to 10 books, or even I think I did 11 one year. I reduced the number of books this semester just because of all the logistical things that are going on with this semester. I wanted to make sure we were attempting something reasonable and not waste our time on books that we won't have time to really dig into. But I've chosen 7 books for this semester, and sometimes I choose books with kind of a theme. Sometimes I don't. Ultimately, these are books that I'm interested in or that I like a lot, and so that's the main reason that I choose a book. Ultimately, if I'm honest. Except Watchmen is kind of a special case, but all these other books I'm interested in for content reasons. There's kind of a theme. I was interested in finding books by authors of color and that addressed issues around social justice and identity, and some things that seem to be really, I guess, on my mind and on a lot of people's minds this summer with the protests after George Floyd's death. And I wanted to think about ways to spend some time with narratives from that point of view, from the as you'll see, the slave narrative point of view. And Nat Turner is a pretty striking example of thinking through a different point of view that is directly related to race and identity. And also when John Lewis died somewhat recently, I've taught all three of the books, the March books, at different versions of this class. I had kind of gotten away from it, but when he passed away, I thought it was obvious that we needed to it was a good opportunity to take a look at his work again. So his book called March, we're going to read book 2 for that one. Of the three, I like book 2. I think book 1 is good as far as setting the groundwork, but book 1 is good as far as his background and his biography, like the life story of John Lewis. Book 2, though, is much more focused on the events, the Edmund Pettus Bridge and the protest there. So this is, I like book 2. So another thing I do for when I choose the books here, I try to choose at least one that I haven't read before, because I think that's a lot of fun usually to read a book for the first time with a group of students. So I have not actually read this Miss Marvel. I've read other Miss Marvel issues and volumes, but not this one, I don't think. So I don't know. I look forward to seeing what it is. Sometimes that goes well. Usually that goes well. I try to pick books that are well reviewed, but sometimes we get a book and it's kind of a dud, but that's okay too. I have also not read House of Whispers by Nayla Hopkinson. I've read other books by her, and I've also read other books in the Sandman universe, which is what this is from. So I'm kind of familiar with it, but not the specific book. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Stuck Rubber Baby by Howard Cruz is a book I have not taught before, but I've read before. I actually met Howard Cruz, but it's an underground comic. It's hard to describe, but we'll see when we get there. I guess one thing I should say about these books as I'm looking through them and thinking about what to say about them. Many of these books are pretty violent, I should say, or they deal with violence in pretty frank ways, I guess. So it is not gratuitous violence, but it is kind of disturbing sometimes, especially Nat Turner. Nat Turner is rough. There's no other way to put it. It's extremely violent. But it's a true story, and that's where it's like we get interesting questions of how do you depict that, right? I mean, we have a story that's a horrible story. What is the artist's responsibility in terms of giving us that horribleness by using graphic art to convey those events? Or it's not just conveying information about the events, it's making us feel a certain way about them. So how does he use his art to get us to that point? It's a really interesting book, and I really like it, but it's just be warned, it's rough. There is March book 2 is also fairly violent. I have not read House of Whispers, but I will kind of at least skim it before we read it, just to make sure it's not too disturbing. But I don't think it is. There are some of the Sandman books that I will not teach because they are too much for me. But most of them are fine as far as content goes. All that's to say that we are dealing with books here that do have, I guess, mature subject matter. These are all graphic novels meant for adults, except maybe Miss Marvel is a bit of a younger audience. But these are all meant to be read by adults, and we are all adults here. I do try to, as we're getting ready to start a book, I will give you kind of a content warning or give you an overview of the kinds of things you might run into. I am all for and always interested in reading books that make me uncomfortable, or that, especially if they force me to reconsider my assumptions about something, anything. So I don't want you to be afraid to read these books or hesitant. That said, there are certain things in books and film and in video games, whatever, that can really be disturbing to some people. That can reference prior trauma, for example. And I I'm okay with making you uncomfortable, but I definitely do not want to traumatize anyone or re-traumatize anyone. So if you think something is going to be too much for you, then let me know, and you're welcome to excuse yourself from certain conversations, and we can talk about like what to do instead, or how to approach certain things. That'll be a conversation we can have. But I want to make sure that you feel. I want to make sure to convey to you that it is okay to have that conversation. Like if you think that something is going to be too much for you, then yeah, let me know so I know what to expect, or what I can ask of you in that conversation, and what not to ask about you in that conversation. Okay, so I will probably update the syllabus with actual like thumbnails of the book covers just to help you make sure you're getting the right one. But this is probably not the order we're going to read these in. It might be close to it, but go ahead and get copies of these. Certainly used copies are fine. It doesn't really matter what edition you get if you are looking for, there's lots of editions of Watchmen. It doesn't matter which version you get. Excuse me. If you happen to get the first edition, or like the original, not even just the first edition, but it's been through several print runs, and then they did a recoloring in the late 90s. If you can get the original coloring, that is pretty interesting to compare. So, that's okay if you do happen to have that copy, or if that's the one you get. Okay, so I have a lot of things I've said today, and I am not used to talking this much, so I'm going to be wrapping it up and getting some tea so I can be ready to do this for 2 or 3 more hours today with the other classes that I'm teaching. But hopefully this was a helpful overview of what's going on. Just bear with me as I update things and get all the dates adjusted and assignment descriptions up to date on things. I'm still kind of working through that, but you're welcome to look around. Obviously, please make sure you can find us in Discord, and just make it a habit with Discord, just to be online every day, basically. I like to keep it running all the time, but whatever you need to do. I see someone's question. Okay, there's a question here that I will answer from the live stream chat channel from Poofaloof. So I lost my train of thought though. It basically was saying, think of Discord as attendance, right? So if it's time for class, then you should have Discord open wherever you are, whether that's in person or while I'm streaming, or if we're doing something else synchronously. Just kind of always have Discord going, and that should be good. All right, so Poofaloof's question was, what would happen if we choose to do the entire class online? Would we do a live stream with you while you're teaching, whatever group in person, or how would that work? And so if you look at, the syllabus has kind of the generic statement about COVID-19 at the bottom. The provost gave us this to put on our syllabus. So this covers the basic ground rules for being face-to-face. And you've probably seen this already, or things like it. But in terms of cohorts, like in terms of this class, the idea for a live stream is that everyone watches the live stream at the same time. So that's why it'll be, let's say, Monday. But if you're like in the Wednesday group and it's Friday, then I don't think it will work well for me to be leading a discussion like in person and also having a live stream out to the other group, if that makes sense. So my plan is to have a pre-planned activity for you to do together. So that might be a series of questions, or an exercise, like a little miniature project to produce, or something like that. So it'll be something that you all are doing in coordination with each other at the same time, but that I will follow up with you later about, if that makes sense. So these are the things that'll be a bit easier as far as just understanding how it works once you have a cohort, and once I can kind of put you into those groups and start directing you accordingly. But this is new to me. Like, this is a new, everything's new, but this particular system is still hypothetical. So we'll see how it goes. Certainly this week we will just be live streaming all 3 days this week. So we won't be dealing with this cohort model directly until later. But today, so Christine was asking, make sure you're in Discord, which obviously you are. As far as websites, you don't have to sign up for the website, the MaryWashingtonComics.net website yet. I'll show you how to do that later. But you're in Discord, you're in Canvas, And that's it, really. So you're in Discord, great. You're in Canvas, great. So just fill out that survey in Canvas so I can know which cohort to put you in, and I'll start doing some organization. If you need a bit of time, Poofaloof, like I said, I'm working on the schedule, but you probably won't need it. I would say this is probably good. Probably try to have them in that third or that fourth week, whenever we're actually face to face. That would be a good time to have the books, if that makes sense. So I have a lot of online, like digital things I can give you that I plan to give you before then. Yeah, we'll need at least one of them starting then. But I'll have the schedule in much more detail by Wednesday, so you'll be able to see those dates. But I guess just kind of generally plan on getting those by the time we're face to face. Okay, so I will be wrapping this up. It's over. Yeah, I've been going for over an hour. Wow. Okay, so I'm going to be wrapping this up shortly. I have a bunch of. Oh, Don. Okay, hi. Somebody brought pizza. Great. So I have a bunch of Discord notifications. I have different Discord servers I'm in. So one of them is I mean, you all are talking, but there's also another one that's really chatty right now. So I'm getting a lot of notifications. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap this up. I will have more information for you on Wednesday, but basically plan on joining me again at 10:10 on Wednesday on Twitch and on Discord, and we'll be good. It looks like I got most everybody in here, but I will be following up with anyone who didn't make it, and of course I'll be archiving the stream on YouTube in case you want to watch it later. Okay, well, first day of class. That wasn't too bad. I went okay for me, from my point of view. So hopefully it was good for you too. If you have questions or anything, send me an email, send me a Discord message, whatever you need to do. Otherwise, I will see you, or you will see me, I guess, on Wednesday at 10:10. Have a good day.